So I want to tackle this thing that I keep hearing from guys in social media. And the topic or the question is, why don't women seem to want a good guy, right? I'm going to cover this. First of all, let me say that's not true. What I'm learning about myself, I'm 35, still single, is that a lot of us grew up in generational affected households of unhealthy love. And so what we grew up going after unconsciously ended up being unhealthy love. Now, to be clear on my end, I have dated good guys, but when it comes to a numbers game, things happen. I could say, hey, I had a healthy childhood and I'm clear and healthy on what I want, and I am, but that's not what I was attracting. But within your DNA, when you grow up in a certain predicament, your brain starts to form different neural paths to say, that's what love looks like, okay? So go out and get that kind of crazy love, all right? Great. Unfortunately, when you say like, oh, you attract a man like your father, that's very true, because if that is what you grew up seeing love to be, then that is what you're going to be attracted to. It is literally in your brain makeup and your DNA. And what you have to do is, if you get wise enough to realize that that's not what you want, I definitely don't want anybody like my father, then you have to retrain your brain, be aware, and do some self-healing so that you are making sure that you are attracting healthy love. Now, the numbers game. I've dated nice guys. I really have. They've gone off and gotten married. Not to me, but they have gone off and gotten married. And the thing about that is even if I dated all nice guys, it's still a numbers game. It still comes down to that person who feels like you're the one for them. And so what happens in those relationships is maybe we, have a falling out. Maybe we both don't communicate well, because I've had that happen. And in hindsight, I'm like, he was trying to say this and I was trying to say this, but neither one of us actually said it. And everybody was too prideful to say it, and then it comes down to, sometimes it's just easier to leave. Hey, this reminds me of some chaos I was in. Hey, you remember me of some chaos I was in? I'm gonna leave you alone, or you gonna leave me alone? Well, I'm gonna leave you alone too. And that's how that happens. Sometimes I met guys and it was just bad timing. I've met some guys where I knew I was ready for a committed relationship. I wanted to be married in my mind at that time. I don't know how I feel about that now, to be honest. And I knew I was definitely ready to become a mother. And I looking at them and their lives and the things that they wanted, and from past experience, I said, we're not on the same page yet. And I just walked away. It was no hard feelings. It was nothing that they did. It was nothing they could have done different. We were just at two different places in our lives. Not to say we couldn't have done that journey together, but my time frame and a lot of men's time frame, especially women, when we have those ticking clocks, we like, yo, you playing. I gotta go. So that happens, okay? But to be clear, this myth that women don't want good guys is not true. And I'm going to tell you guys something that might blow your heads off, okay? So take your ego, hold your nuts. I'm about to say it. The thing about going after a woman who you may feel does not date good guys, or she don't want no good man, I try to hit on her, and that woman still needs to be attracted to you. And it may be as simple as you are just not her type, okay? Let me be clear. I have turned down, and this is not to boast, but this is to give you guys an idea of me. I have turned down a lot of millionaires over my time, at least a good handful, who wanted to knock me up, let me have their baby, send me a check, and call it a day, okay? And that's never the life that I wanted. It's just, I wanted a father for my daughter that I have now. I wanted someone who was wanting to be a husband and wanting to be a father and wanting to come home at night and wanting that life with me, okay? So when I say she's not attracted to you, it doesn't mean that that woman is only attracted to money and cars and nice things. That's not true. Like I said, I've turned it down because that's not what I want. I would take a shit shoveler if you're happy being a shit shoveler. If you take off your boots when you come in the house and you leave the chaos out the door and you come home and you're peaceful and kind and we can grow together and we're on the same page. I'm a hard worker. We can be a hard worker together. Okay. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that woman, she's just a gold digger. She don't want nobody like me. Like, that's not true. Just sometimes she's just simply not attracted to you. And attraction has nothing to do with your bank account for some women, at least for me. But that is actually a reason why sometimes women are not giving you, the type of attention in return. You're just not her type physically. And I'm still in my baby making years. So I want to feel like, okay, if I'm going to date you, we have sex. If we having sex, there's a possibility of making a baby. If we make a baby, I want to make a baby with you. So, you know, for me, it's still important. It will always be important for me to be sexually attracted to the person that I'm dating. So, you know, let's be clear on these things. People are always, you know, I'm sick of hearing like women don't want good men. The nice guy always finish that. It's not true. We all grew up with Disney fairy tales fucking our heads up. We all want nice guys. But sometimes, again, you can literally be hardwired to have to attract a dysfunctional relationship to yourself because of the way you grew up. You can. It's all the research I've been doing and healing myself. If you grew up in a crazy household, it can hardwire your brain to only accept chaos. I had an ex tell me one time when we were together, it's weird to me we don't argue. So I start arguments with you because we don't argue. The fuck? That blew my mind. But he grew up in chaos. He grew up with a not so easy relationship with his mom. And, you know, and he was used to chaos and he was not comfortable if it wasn't going down. And that really opened my eyes to, you know, that being a thing. It blew my mind. Like, you're upset with peace? Wow. So anyway, I wanted to cover this. I'm going on, but just a couple points. Listen, shake down your family tree. See the type of relationships they had. By the time I saw my grandfather and paid attention, he was just a docile old man. But apparently he was a hellraiser to my grandmother. And that was the relationship my mother saw. And my dad grew up in a single mother household in the South, Jim Crow South. And he saw a lot of things he didn't want to see involving his mom. And these two people raised me. And I grew up seeing my mother chase my father around with a knife. And I'm like, this is not the type of relationship I want my daughter to see. And so even now, since I'm a mom, I am very particular in who I date, if I date at all. So it's really interesting. But to go back, and for me personally, I have been attracting men who are like my father, as well as good guys, but between communication and different things like that, you know, some things just didn't work out. But I know for sure I don't want to date anybody like my dad. So I had to do a lot and am doing a lot of self-work. And hopefully one day I'll do this and show you guys my beautiful ring, because my beautiful husband who'll be sitting right next to me will be like, yep, I got her. One day. We'll see. If not, I'm kind of okay with that too. But I want to cover it. Women do want nice guys. We do. Don't believe the hype. We do. All women want nice guys. We just have to get clear on what a nice guy means to us.